Right, get it all. So continuing along to Surah 18, Surah al Kahf, right? Surah 18, right? Meaning the cave, right? The cave, right? And what this means is that for quite a number of years we have been under illusions, right? For quite a number of years, maybe for our entire life, we may have been under an illusion, right? The cave, hidden beneath an illusion, beneath a veil, right? This is what this means, right? So, in other words, a cover of sleep has been casted over some of our ears, or metaphorically our ears or our eyes, right? That we may not have been able to see or hear certain things or perceive certain things, right? So this is about coming out of the cave. Remember, we're talking about bringing people out of darkness into light, right? Bringing people out of darkness into light. So, by yesterday I talked about several things leading people out of things like pornography, things like human trafficking, child abuse, right? Men and female abuse, all these things, right? So we are also leading people now, trying to lead communities, right? Trying to lead communities such as homosexuality and these things, right? Homosexuality, transgender, right? All these things, abortions, all these things that are part of our agenda, right? Trying to lead young people, right? Young people who are misled by these communities, right? Leading young people who are misled, right? Misled by these communities throughout the world, these agendas. We are leading young people out of that agenda, right? So that they could have a productive, fulfilling, and happy life, right? Making people, helping people to become proportioned, right? As the past generations live, right? The legacy that they would have left, and the right legacy that they would have left, the appropriate legacy that they are leaving, is one of righteousness, right? So we are trying to proportion young people who are carried away by these agendas, right, to maintain a sense of integrity, maintain a sense of righteousness, right, moving forward, so that they can have happy families, right? Happy selves, happy families going forward in time, right? So verse 1 says, all praise due to Allah who has sent down his servant, right? All praises due to Allah who has sent down his servant, right? Emphasizing again the point that I made yesterday, right? Emphasizing again the point that I made yesterday about Prophet Muhammad being what? A servant, and not somebody to be what? Were held up in high esteem above any other human on earth, right? But a servant who, just like everybody else, trying to just provide some sort of guidance to navigate this life going forward, right? So Allah has made your path straight, right? Allah has made your path straight, right? So trying to lead, right, those who are misled by these agendas and so on, right, back into a righteous path. So a path of non-conflict, non-contradiction, right? If we were facing a lot of contradiction on your journey, if me, you, anybody else were facing contradictions and inner self conflict on our journey, trying to proportion, balance back out each other, right? Harmonize the self, right? Balance back both our male, masculine, feminine energy, so we become neither leaning to one nor the other, right? But balance in self, right? To move forward, right? So leading people back to Allah, right? Leading people back to Allah, right? Allah simply means that you are proportioned, because Allah proportions you, right? Allah proportions you, right? Allah being not having any particular gender. And when I say this has nothing to do with any transgendered community, right? Nothing at all, right? I don't know if there's a misconception that people have, right, regarding when people hear the term saying that Allah is genderless, that it supports the homosexual community or LGBTQ community or something, right? That's not the case. Well, Allah is genderless, meaning that Allah is neutral. Allah doesn't possess a race, gender, caste, creed, anything like that. It just is neutral. It just is, right? Creator just is, right? So, again, warn to those who say, and this is especially to Christian communities, that Allah has taken a son, right? Allah has taken a son, right? The son of Allah. If there's a son of Allah, it is no different from any one of you all. It's no different from what? Your father, my brother, your brother, right? Your friend, my friend, right? Allah has taken a son, my ex, your ex, right? Allah has taken a son. It refers to any male out there, any female out there. Actually, Allah has taken a child, right? Allah has taken children. Allah has taken all of us, right? So one to those who say Allah has taken a son, right? They have no knowledge of it, nor had their fathers, right? Grave is the word that comes out of their mouths. They speak except a lie, right? So trying to lead people out of that belief system as well, right? Because it's an unfair belief system, right? It's an unfair belief system that what God has taken one son, because how the rest of the world going to feel about that, right? How the rest of the community going to feel about that, right? That one person is held up as a special one, right? And what everybody else is what? So everybody else is what, right? So Allah has taken us all, right? Allah has taken us all, right? Right. So some would have hoped that you would kill yourself over grief, right? Over what? Certain belief systems that are false, or certain words that people are saying to you that are not pleasant to your ears, right? And sometimes you might hear these things, and those saying it expect you to what? Kill yourself over grief, right? You are grieved by what people are saying about you, and it's expected that you what? Take yourself out of the world, right? Kill yourself or whatever, right? Right? So grieve not over these things, right? Grieve not over these things, right? And do not become sorrowful over these matters that people are saying about you, such as how dirty you are, la 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 la, right? Especially if you don't believe in this whole concept of the Allah has taken a son or God has taken a son kind of thing, right? Especially if you don't believe in these concepts and you're being told that it's too dirty for this and that and whatever, right? Grieve not and be sorrowful over that, and grieve not and be sorrowful over this message that I'm telling you, right? So Christians out there and so on, if you are listening to this, if you are not triggered enough to listen to this, right? Grieve not or be sorrowful or not by this message, right? Be not sorrowful about this message. This is not about the truth, right? Coming from God, the revelation of truth coming from God. This is not something I'm making up, right? This is revelation coming directly from God, right? This is not something I am fabricating, making up, right? So right. So ask that God grants from Himself mercy and prepare right guidance, right? Prepare for our path, right? Right guidance and path leading us out, or wherever your path is, whether your path is leading to death, or whether your path is leading to marriage, whether your path is leading to commitment, whatever your path be, right? Be it that it be prepared in right guidance, right? Right. So Allah makes firm the hearts of those who believe and those who do not invoke any other than Him, right? Those who do not invoke any other than the Creator itself, right? Allah would make your heart sound, right? And your meaning sound judgment, right? Your heart sound in judgment, your mind sound in judgment, right? Right. So this surah is also talking about things like procrastination, right? So remember, we're helping people to become disciplined as well, right? Simple things like what? Cleaning your room, sweeping your room, right? Even if you're depressed, even if you feel like you don't have the will to do it, even if you feel like the will is coming to an end, right? Just do it, right? Just do it, right? Sweep your room, right? Just sweep your room. Just mop out your room. You don't have to do it every single day, right? Every few days, every couple days, right? Every week if you want, mop every week if you want, sweep every other day if you want. You don't have to do these things every day, but just get it done, right? Just get it done, right? So do not put off for tomorrow what you are able to do today, right? Do not procrastinate, right? If you know you have to sweep your room today or sweep your bathroom today, clean your bathroom today, right? Do what you need to do today, right? And not procrastinate it for any other day, right? Never say, indeed, I will do that tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow, right? Tomorrow might never come, right? Tomorrow might just never come, right? Right. Another illusion, right? Entertainment, right? Another illusion, right? But the title of that movie is actually true, right? Entertainment being another illusion, but the title of that movie being truth, right? So, so recite that which has been revealed to you, right? If it is that something has been directly revealed to you, you recite it, right? If it is you read something and that revelation comes through reading something, right? Through reading a book and something clicks in you, right? You share it, right? Share that knowledge with the world, right? Or share it with somebody else. Right, let not your eyes desire adornment of the worldly life, right? The glittery, glamorous things of the world, right? Let not your eyes, right, be captivated by all the glitz and glamour of the world. Everything that glitters is in gold, right? We know that saying from long ago. So let not your eyes be captivated by only that which glitters and is glamorous in the world, right? Right, truth is from Allah, right? Let him believe and whoever wills, let him believe whoever wills and let him disbelieve whoever wills, right? So that's a free will. That's a little bit of free will that we have in this life, right? It's up to you, right? Information is out there. Let him believe or let her believe if they will. Let him or her disbelieve if they will, right? He or she. Alright, so again, this is about comparisons, especially if you have more than people, right? To not to look down on them, as I was saying in my video yesterday, to not to look down on people who are less than you, to not say I am greater than you in wealth and mightier in numbers. So if you are in a team or a group that is of more people, right? That has more people, right? A team, right? And whatever, if you see life as a competition or whatever, and you are on a site that has more people on it, right? Do not feel as though you are mightier just because you are on a team with more people, or do not look down on anybody else because you have more wealth, right? And do not ever think that the hour is not near, right? The hour, always remember that the hour, right? The final hour could approach you at any given time, right? So do not disbelieve in he who created you, right, out of dust, out of the earth itself, right, and then created you out of a sperm drop and egg, right, sperm and egg merging, right, created you out of that, right, zygote, right, so on and go on to form embryo, fetus, whatnot, right? Do not disbelieve in that which the creator, which created you from what? Earth itself, right? A speck of dust, a speck of the earth itself, right? Then a sperm drop and an egg, right? And then further develop you and proportion you as mankind, right? Right, the book says in 46, verse 46, wealth and children are but adornment of the worldly life, right? Now I wanted to address this from a different angle, or from a more insightful angle that I was thinking about, that you will want to have a child, desire to have a child, want to have a child, and then come and read this verse that children are but adornment of the worldly life, right? That's actually, if you just interpret this as a surface, right? If you just interpret this as surface meaning, right? It is actually against true Islamic teaching, right? If you take this verse and interpret it literally, right? Literally, it is actually against true deeper Islamic teachings, right? Because if you have a child, your everything should be your family, your child, whatnot, right? That is actually the essence of Islam, right? The integration of spiritual and family life, right? So what this really mean, or what I gathered that this mean, right? Remember, we are talking about leading people out of darkness into light, right? So this is referring to, and I suggest that this is referring to things like pedophilia and so on, right? The people who actually see children as playthings, as my little dolly, right? My daughter is my or somebody else's daughter is like a little dolly to you, right? And a little attraction to you, right? Attraction to you, right? If you're older male or even older female, right? And you see somebody else's child, and that child is not like a meaningful being, soul, right? But you see that as a plaything, right? As a dolly, right? Such as, for example, we were all introduced to that movie when it came out, that Cuties on Netflix show, right? That's just an example of it. I just saw the cover photo. I didn't watch the movie, right? So that cover photo was a few like children, and they were dressed up like little dollies and makeup, lipstick, whatnot. The models, the children models, and so on, right? And that's what this verse is actually referring to, right? Things like that, right? It will take little children who are now literally like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever, any child, any age, right? Dress them up like how you dress up an adult with makeup, lipstick, full on makeup and lipstick, all these things, right? And have them parade, model, all these things. These are things that contribute to what? Pedophilia, all these things, right? All these, there are things that we could do that could actually put a stop, a full on stop to all these things, you know. It starts with yourself and how you actually treat with yourself, treat with your family members, treat with your own children, and so on. And we as a people in the world, in promoting righteousness in the world, could actually put a stop to those things like pedophilia and how people think when they see these little children dressed up like how whatever these illusionary aspects of the society want to promote these children as, right? So the Quran has been diversified for people of every kind, right? But mankind has been, most of anything, prone to dispute, right? The Quran has been diversified, right? The verses in the Quran has been diversified for every single type of person, right? So any kind of person can actually read the Quran, right? Regardless of race, regardless of gender, ethnicity, right? Country, color, nationality, whatever, right? Anybody could actually read the Quran, right? And get the message. The verses are diversified. If you don't get the meaning in one chapter, in one surah, you'll get it in the next chapter, right? So you are being what? I don't want to use the word commanded, but encouraged to be guided by those of sound judgment, right? Right? If you are looking for a spiritual teacher, if you want to call that a guru, a teacher, right? A teacher of the world, a teacher of yourself, right? A teacher for yourself, right? Find somebody who is what? Guided by sound, who is sound in judgment, right? Like I was saying, not everybody might want to listen to me. I might be too triggering for some, right? I only have a few views. I might be triggering for some, right? I've cussed a lot in some of my videos, right? It doesn't matter, right? Find somebody who you believe or who you feel intuitively that is of sound judgment to you and your understanding, right? And learn from that person, right? And you will find that person, right? Right. So the Quran is also a book that is what you learn from when it comes to pattern ways and joining ways, right? Parting ways and starting ways, right? Put an end to something and a new beginning to something, right? A end to something, right? As one chapter closes, another one's open. That's the saying, right? So the Quran could either be leading you out, right, of a situation, or leading you into a situation, right? It is a book of junction, right? Is a book that is at the doorway, right? Standing at the doorway, right? Standing at a doorway. So you're either what? You're at the doorway to what? A new beginning, right? A new beginning, right? You're standing at a doorway to a new beginning, right? And that new beginning can be what? The biggest awakening, which is death, right? That is the biggest awakening, right? Or you can be standing at the juncture to what? A new beginning, meaning you could be meeting an next person, you could be meeting, you are what? Getting rid of past traumas in your life, right? You are about to start a new beginning, a new life with somebody else, you're about to get married, right? So it could be a what? Parting ways of what? Family ties to join a new family, to create your own family. It could be one of what? Leaving your family, it could be one of leaving the earth, right? But it's a book of you are at the junction, right? We are at the junction, right? Junction of what? It refers to as two seas, right? At the junction of two seas, right? So you are what? Crossing over, right? We are crossing over, right? It's a crossing, it's a journey, right? Right, so those whose effort is lost in worldly life, right, they think that they are doing well in work, right? So those who put all their effort, right? Talking about like people who are so invested in things like work, right? So invested in your work, corporate society and so on, right? So invested in your work that all you do is work, right? Work, meaning that you work in your work 8 to 4, you come home, you're still doing work for whatever ministry, whatever private organization, government, non-governmental, right? You invest all your energy, workaholics, right? You and work right through, and even when you come home, all you think about is work, all you do is work, right? Especially if it's not your passion, right? But you use work, so it is especially what I'm referring to. Work that is not even your passion, right? But you do it to drown out yourself, right? Drown out yourself from facing reality, right? From facing yourself, one, facing reality, two, right? So this is what this thing, that effort, right? That effort in that worldly life will be lost for those who think that they are what? Elevating, doing well in that aspect of society, right? Right, so whoever would hope for a meeting with God, let them do righteous work and not associate the worship of God with anyone, right? Whoever hopes for the meeting of God, let them do righteous work and not associate the worship of God with anyone. Have a good evening. Have a good day.